Hello, I am Mac, at least for a day. This will be a YouTuber interview. First of all, happy Martin Luther King Jr. Day to those of us in America as we celebrate freedom and equality. And I am joined today by another YouTuber who's done some No Man's Sky videos. His name is ROBOTBOY. You there?
Hey, how's it going, Mac?
Great. So tell us a little bit about your channel. What kind of videos do you do?
Yeah, so I've actually only just got into the sort of No Man's Sky loop of YouTubing, making videos on the game, but I've always been a fan of the game since before its release, and then during its release, and all the way up until now, and I will continue to be a fan of the game. And I had my YouTube channel for a good few years before I started making No Man's Sky videos, and sort of my job, I make films. I have a film and photography company that I run in the UK, and that's my job. And I use my YouTube channel to make tutorials about how to do certain things with regards to video editing and animation and CGI, and seem to be doing sort of okay. I got a few good views here and there on sort of tutorial basis, but after a while I started to sort of lose a bit of traction with it, so I rebranded the channel to become ROBOTBOY and changed the aesthetic of it, brought in the sort of the retro colors and the retro titles, started doing more tutorials, and then I made a gaming video a few months ago on Horizon Zero Dawn, and I enjoyed making that video. And then with all of the sort of around the time that it seemed that Waking Titan would start up again, I thought, you know, what have I got to lose? I might as well make a video on No Man's Sky. I want to talk about it, get involved. I would see you and other YouTubers, people that you've interviewed, and other people vocal in the community. I was watching all of your videos, and I thought, hey, maybe I'll chuck in my thoughts as well. And so I thought I'd make a video on it, talking about what I think is going to happen, what I think could happen. And the video kind of went skyrocketed, got a load of views, and people immediately sort of welcomed me into the community, and it was a really nice feeling. Everyone got involved, and I felt, you know, oh, actually I really want to carry on making videos about this game, talking about it. So over the last few weeks I've started making more videos, and people have keep coming back to them. And I think, yeah, from now on I'm going to keep on making some more No Man's Sky videos for the foreseeable future, especially with the you know, hopefully the new update coming soon and everything involved with that. So that's how I got started, and that's where I am now. And then, yeah, here I am today with you on your channel. It's strange. A few weeks ago I was listening to one of your interviews with Hidden Panda Show, and now here I am on the interview as well. So yeah, that's kind of my story, and that's where I am today. Yeah.
Yeah, and I like that you said the community welcomed you. I'm one that tries to seek out new channels that are starting to do No Man's Sky videos and kind of welcome them. MZK is one that when he did his first video, I commented on it and encouraged him, and since then he's been doing a lot of No Man's Sky videos. And I want to say about your No Man's Sky videos, I really like the format. I think you kind of use a slideshow of screenshots, and you talk while the slideshow goes, which is pretty unique. You know, most YouTubers will have like gameplay footage of No Man's Sky or whatever game they're talking about, or they'll actually play the game while talking about it like I do. But that's the first time I've seen anyone with No Man's Sky do a video with screenshots. Of course, that's pretty unique because No Man's Sky is one of the few games that, like, the main thing is that it's good for is making really good screenshots and everything, and it gives you a good the videos are good because it gives a nice example of the kind of amazing sights you can see in the game, instead of just, you know, showing gameplay footage of flying between planets. It shows you all the different creatures and sights and stuff all in one video. So, what do you think of Waking Titan? For those that don't know, Waking Titan is the alternate reality game that it started in June of 2017, and it went until August of 2017 when the 1.3 update to No Man's Sky came out. So it was basically a way of building hype for that update and, you know, getting people excited about it, giving hints as to what the update was going to be. And like you said, we now have another clue that it's going to start up again right before New Year's. The websites that were involved in the ARG started up. So, I wanted to ask, were you involved in the original Waking Titan ARG last year, or what do you think of it? What have you heard of the original one?
I was following along. I was very keenly following along. I didn't actually actively become involved with trying to solve the puzzles, or I kind of had to go here and there, but I think there were people much better at figuring out the puzzles doing it, and they were always kind of storming ahead, so I definitely left people to go ahead and do it, but I was following along very closely. I was very much engaged with it, and towards the end, sort of just before the update released, I was traveling around. I was traveling in Europe, and I remember checking my phone sort of every minute that I could to see, you know, what's the newest update, what people found, and when's it coming, what's going to be in the update. And I found it very exciting, and I was kind of glad. I was on, you know, as I say, I was traveling, and then the day I got home, that's when they tweeted about Hello Games. That's when they tweeted saying, oh, you know, the update's coming this week, and I was like, oh, brilliant, and I was excited, and then the update came out. So I was involved to that, and to the extent I was definitely following it along. I definitely loved the game a lot, and then sort of around, I was expecting it to start up again. I was kind of expecting it to go back to maybe the shorter time between each update. So I was looking around sort of November time to December. I thought maybe something would come then, something smaller, and then as nothing did, I thought, oh, okay, well, something big has got to come. And then funnily enough, the day that I made my first No Man's Sky video, that same afternoon that I posted the video was when I was in a restaurant, and I got a message on my video, and it said, did you know that there's been some update on the Waking Titan website, and it was the now famous What Is 1.5 appeared. And yeah, I've now been following that, and then that's where my videos have come from recently, is trying to suggest different ideas, think about what could come from that.
Yep. So what I'm kind of asking is, do you think that the ARG was effective? Was it good for what purpose it had? Because, I mean, there's some debate as to what the purpose of it was. Sean Murray, after the first Waking Titan, said that the purpose of it was to communicate, you know, with the fan base in another way, because they're usually too quiet when they're updating and everything. But of course, usually the purpose of an ARG, and if you read, Allison Smith is the company that made and is making the ARG. If you read their website, they kind of touch on the subject that an ARG is mainly to sell a product. Usually it's usually to get people excited about whatever company or product is behind the ARG. An example would be the movie Artificial Intelligence, which had an ARG for it before the movie came out, that got people excited about the movie, and then of course it, you know, encouraged people to go to the movie. A lot of people were expecting, you know, the ARG to continue, but it was all just pretty much to get people to go to the movie, and then the ARG just kind of stopped. But anyway, that's usually the purpose of an ARG, is to, you know, get people excited and interested in whatever product is being sold. So I'm asking, do you think that's the purpose of Waking Titan? Is it to get other people interested in No Man's Sky, or is it just kind of a fan service thing that people are already like No Man's Sky interested in it? because I mean there was a jump in a big jump, much bigger jump than in previous updates when 1.3 came out. That really, you know, a lot more people were playing the game at 1.3, most likely because of the ARG. And there was probably a lot more sales for the game as well. So what do you think the main purpose of it is? Is it just fan service? Is it to market the game? And is it being effective at whatever purpose it's supposed to have?
I think it's a bit of both. And the reason I think that is, so for me, so around that time of the ARG, as I say, I played the game, but I didn't really know that there was such a strong community around the game. And during the ARG, for a player like me who liked the game, being involved with the ARG exposed me to pretty much everyone, all the YouTubers, yourself, MZK, and got me involved with the community more. So from that side of it, I definitely think it was effective in engaging the core community even more. And I also think it helped iron out the people who may have bought the game and decided to put it down, or people who never bought the game and just decided to jump on the bandwagon of just deciding it wasn't a very good game. I think it kind of silenced them a bit, and it kind of it made people take the game more seriously. I think it was Hello Games' way of saying, okay, look, you know, here you go. This is something big that's happening. We're getting the community involved. And at the end of it, when we did get the update, it was a huge update. It added a lot to the game. I think the whole build up to it got, you know, No Man's Sky was being talked about on news sites, on sort of, you know, journalists were talking about it again. Videos are being made on it again. Yeah, as you say, the sales and the player, you know, current players playing it at the time spiked. And I think after that, it became harder for people to just throw blind hate towards the game. So I think it did work effectively in, as I say, sort of ironing out some issues with the game in terms of its image and the actual game itself. And it definitely worked in bringing the community that already existed together even more, getting them to work together, getting them to play together, and getting them to you know, get to know each other and become friends, and get to follow each other and see, get involved with other people's work and the community online. So I think, yeah, it was definitely effective. And in terms of where the ARG is now, I think you can see that happening again. I don't think this time, however, well, I'm not sure because not much has happened, but I think this time it's really, at the moment it's drawing the core community together. They need to do more. Once more starts happening, maybe the you know, the news sites will start catching on a bit more. But at the moment, I'm feeling a nice sense of sort of conversation between everyone involved in the community, and it's good to get that conversation going again.
Yep, because of course there is quite a bit of criticism for the ARG, especially among the fans. You know, a lot of people will say, oh, just give us the update already. But obviously, if they had an update ready, they would release it. So one of the other points of the ARG is to give fans something to do, keep them engaged while we wait for an update. Because, I mean, if we really are jumping, we'll get to that later, but if we're really jumping to 1.5, it's going to be a huge, major change to the game. And therefore it will take a lot longer for them to finish that update. So, you know, people just complaining that they want to update already, that's not a choice. It's going to be a long time anyway. So people complaining about the ARG, saying that, oh, don't make us, you know, solve all these dumb puzzles so that we can get the update or whatever. Well, that's not the purpose. It's just to give us something to do, something to build interest while we wait for the update to be ready. And really, it's just a choice between, would you like to, you know, do some cryptic puzzles and stuff while you wait, or would you rather do nothing while you wait and kind of forget about No Man's Sky until the update? So it's really just a choice between those two possibilities. But anyway, I wanted to mention something. Of course, there's always people coming up with theories when they think the next thing in the ARG is going to happen. We've been waiting like about 2 weeks now since the original teaser before New Year's, and I've come up with a theory. It's probably just another, you know, crazy theory that's not going to pan out. But I was going through. I went to an exotic planet yesterday, and I went to all those buildings you can find on exotic planets that have all the weird lore. And that lore, we believe, is written by a being called Telemon, which may actually be the voice in our exosuit that talks to us, which is kind of creepy.
Okay.
And Telemon may or may not be like some kind of evil or being or something that's trapped in our exosuit. We don't know. But anyway, I was reading through that lore, and I found a line that said, "I was created 3 weeks after the first death." Obviously, it didn't explain what the first death was, but that being was apparently created 3 weeks after the first death. And I was thinking, what if, you know, like I said, on December 28th, we got the process terminated message on like 3 of the Waking Titan websites, Superlumina, Echo, and Multiverse. They all say process terminated and have a red screen. I was thinking, what if that was the first death? What if the universe that Emily, Loop 16, the AI involved in the ARG, what if that's when her first universe simulation died and failed, and that was the first death? That would mean that 3 weeks from that first death is when this Telemon will come into existence. So it's been about 2 weeks, and if Telemon is created 3 weeks after the first death, that would mean that it will come into existence later this week. So that's just a little theory I have, that to kind of give people hope that something's going to happen soon. It might just be a false hope. We might be waiting till February. Who knows? But that's just something that I've come up with recently. But let's go ahead and talk about the 1.5 number, which also appeared on the Myriad website. Myriad now says 1.5, and it has code for the word mirror. Do you think what? Because of course, at first some people were saying they thought 1.5 would be January 5th, and nothing happened January 5th. So, do you think? What do you think the 1.5 stands for? Do you think it's the next version number, or do you think it's something else?
I originally did think it could have meant not necessarily the update would come on the 5th of January, but that Waking Titan would properly start up again. The ARG would properly begin again on the 5th, and yet, you know, as we all know, nothing did happen. And last week nothing happened, and then people were saying, but I saw a lot of people saying today, the 15th of January, 1.5, something could happen, but again, that's really, I think, stretching. In terms of the number 1.5, at the moment, I'm trying to not to think too much into it. I think the way I kind of look at it is that, as we've known, as we kind of come to get used to with the previous ARG, whatever you think you know with what they're trying to tell you, it's probably the opposite. So, you know, could it be, you know, 1.5? Do they want us to think that they're going to skip the update? And if that means it's a skip 1.4, sorry. But is that too obvious, or, you know, I'm not too sure. And because of that, and the dates that have gone by, I think I'm going to wait until something, that the next thing for certain happens, in order to start seeing where that could go. Because I think we could definitely go on and on and on forever with theories on what it could mean. So until then, I'm not too sure. Will it skip? Will it go? Will the update be 1.5? I'm not sure. There are good reasons why it could and why it couldn't. I think I saw some people have said, you know, if it's going to be such a substantial update, to make it version 1.5 of the game, it's going to be that big that they could go to 1.5, and that could be their big sort of marketing point of it. Is we're skipping 1.4, we're going to 1.5. Look at this. This is big. But I don't see logistically why they would do that and not just go to 1.4.
Yep.
With regards to the mirror, the word mirror, with the hexadecimal, the 6069727266F72 that popped up. Someone today, actually, on Twitter, actually not too long ago, Ray Reynolds, he input those numbers, or that sequence, into Google Maps, and it brought up a location, a very specific location. I don't know if you saw this today. Did you see what happened with that?
I hadn't heard that.
Oh, so yeah, so he input that into Google Maps, and it brings you to a very specific location in London called the Guildford Hotel.
Oh.
And, yeah, and obviously the Hello Games are based in Guildford, but Guildford Hotel is not in Guildford, it's in London, which is in a separate. And what's even more frustrating is, like, could you not, this afternoon I was walking down the road that hotel was on, and I got on the train. I came home, and when I got home, I saw the tweet, and I was like, oh. So, I thought, oh, if I'd seen it earlier, I could have gone to the hotel and seen if I could see if there was something to do with 1.5 there. Was it a room number? Was there something waiting there? But yeah, I found it very coincidental that the same sequence gives you Guildford Hotel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the first Waking Titan, there was a lot of Easter eggs like that it would seem to point to something like a certain statue of a Greek god in a park, but no one was able to find anything there. So I don't know if they like purposely put like red herrings in or what. Like sometimes we'll come up with just weird things that seem so obvious that it's a clue, but then it doesn't, come to anything. Like we found a lot of Shakespeare quotes that didn't really end up being a solution to anything, that were hidden in the websites and all that. But going back to 1.5, MZK said in one of his videos that it would be unprecedented to skip the version number, and that like no one ever does that or something. Although I've heard the opposite from other people, like saying that, oh, Windows 95 skip to whatever and stuff. And so it could happen with No Man's Sky and all that. Of course, the other thing that some people think, which may be just wishful thinking, is that we're going to get the 1.4 update really soon, and that then the ARG will be leading up to 1.5 after we get the update. But of course, that's probably just wishful thinking. Usually, if you think the update's going to be really soon, it almost never is. So I'm not sure. I mean, I think it would be possible they would skip to 1.5, but it would be nice if we did get 1.4 soon. But we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, with the sort of analogy there with the Windows, I think it might have been MZK said about the jump between the iPhone 8 and the iPhone 10, because they were like, here's the iPhone 8, but the iPhone 10 is such a big jump between the 8 and to 10 that we need to show that by giving it an extra number. So that's the main reason why I think they would go straight to 1.5, as I said, to be like, look, this update is really, really significantly going to change the game. So that's why we're going to do that. But yeah, aside from that, yeah, I'm not too sure why.
And I really don't know how this works, but I would guess that Sony would require them to have an explanation for it, like why the version switch. So they'd probably have different features added in each version number. So there'd be like a change log, I don't know, explaining what happened at 1.4 and so on up to 1.5, all the features they added. But I don't know. I really don't know how it all works. But anyway, let's move on. What what do you think should be in the next update, or what do you think will be and what should be? You, of course, did a video about this saying, like, the 5 main things you wanted, but I want you to go ahead and, you know, tell the viewers again what you think should be in the update.
So the video I made was kind of like it was more of a dream for the longevity of the game, what I would kind of dream for the game to be like at the end of its entire life cycle, or if I had any wish to throw anything in the game, what would I want to see? But in terms of the sort of the next update, realistically, what we could see coming, I think, well, you know, as they've said at the end of the Atlas Rises trailer, they did say that more is to come with the multiplayer. Will it be a completely 100% multiplayer focused update? Probably. I don't think it will. I think the thing is, with people saying, you know, it needs to have multiplayer. It has to have multiplayer. At the moment, you know, we have multiplayer in the game at the moment, and I think the extent of what all people want from the multiplayer is to be, you know, if they add more multiplayer, that has to come with certain other game-changing things, which I think they'll package into the update. So, you know, it'll be the multiplayer update, but they will give you certain things. So they might give you, this might be the reason for them to give us a player model. Finally, this might be the reason to give us sort of ship customization, things like that, sort of different features and mechanics that they can build on. And then, because, you know, with multiplayer in the game, I don't think they're going to add PvP. I think that would be completely wasted in this game. I think all people want, you know, at the moment you can explore with your friends. I think all people want is just to be able to see each other. I don't think anyone really wants it to go too much further than that. I don't know if it could go much further than that. So as I say, in order for them to do that, that means that they're going to add more things to it, such as, yeah, player models, maybe a bit more in-depth base building, just a couple more features like that. And then the other thing I think they're going to focus on, you know, Sean has shown a interest in Rayrod's overhaul. He has tweeted about it, and I definitely think that the main thing we're going to see is their actual procedural generation system is going to be focused on, in terms of the fauna and the flora, which I mentioned in my video, and I do think that's sort of the more realistic thing we're going to see, because they've got everything in the game now. Sort of mainly that they said, you know, we've got a full story in there now. We've got freighters, the base building, the ship, the exocraft. We've got farming. We have got the ability to see other people, to experience the game with other people. So everything's there, and I think now they won't add too many things. What they're going to do is keep improving everything as much as possible. So for me, I think that's what it's going to be, just improving what's already there, improving their algorithms, improving the generation, and kind of aiming to push towards their sort of their intended goal, Sean's intended goal of creating these insane worlds that you've never seen before, and just increasing the variation. And aside from that, you know, I kind of go on with a list of smaller things, but for me, yeah, I think variation, generation, and the multiplayer, if they do improve on that, let's say it won't be sort of adding in death matches or things, it will be adding in extra things to help with the multiplayer, such as a bit more customization.
Yep, and Panda and Hidden from the Hidden Panda Show and I have kind of a friendly argument going. There does seem to be two separate camps right now. People that think multiplayer is what they should concentrate on, and people that think variation is what they should concentrate on. And Hidden and Panda are definitely in the multiplayer camp. They think that multiplayer should be the focus, and that's what the game really needs to get more players interested, and all that. And I'm definitely in the variation camp, and it sounds like you are too, that variation is what is really needed. And there was another YouTuber that I watched recently that did a video, kind of a rant, where he was complaining that all the updates have been kind of pointless because all the game really needed was variation, and that multiplayer wouldn't help, base building didn't help, etc., etc., and that variation is the main thing that it always needed to be what it was supposed to be, and that's what they should concentrate on. I think that multiplayer is fine, kind of like you. I think they will add player models and all that. But again, I think they really need to concentrate on the variation. And the good thing is, back when 1.3 came out, they were looking for more artists, experienced artist, a graduate artist, and a visual effects artist. So that really makes it look like they're going to do a lot of variation in the next update if they did hire those people. And I mean, what else would an artist work on than, you know, more assets for planets and such?
Yeah.
So I definitely think variation will be part of it. And of course, they promised that they would continue to develop the synchronous co-op. So most likely, the two camps will both be satisfied, because there will be more multiplayer and more variation in the next update. The only question is, how much will they concentrate on one or the other? Will it be mostly multiplayer and a little variation, which I really hope is not the case, because they've always added a little bit of variation in each update. Like they added the exotic planets, they added a few different cactus plants and a few different creature heads that I've noticed, but not enough to really make the game seem like there are, you know, infinite planets that you hardly ever see anything twice. You can still go to 2 star systems and see planets with giant mushrooms. So I'm hoping that it will be a little bit of multiplayer and a lot of variation. Like, you know, add 2,000 biomes like Rayrod's mod did, that, like you mentioned. So that's what I'm hoping. So any final thoughts that you wanted to mention?
Yeah, I think, just as I say, in terms of the new update, I think beyond being able to see each other, that's kind of as far as if that's all they did, if they added the ability to see each other's player models, for me, that's all the multiplayer would need to be. And I think, and if they did that and then focus on the variation, you know, I've got a couple of friends who are still holding off on the game, and you know, they're like, I'll wait until multiplayer comes. And I think the day that they add in the ability to see each other, and then they add in, as you know, potentially 2,000 biomes, or they overhaul the generation system, and they actually give you something to do, to actually go and explore with each other and see each other. I think that's the thing that's going to draw people in. It's not going to be huge sort of massive multiplayer elements. It's going to be the ability to do what has always been core to the game, which is exploration and finding amazing things, and just doing that with friends a little bit more in depth with that. Yeah, when will it come? I'm, in terms of Waking Titan, I think I'm quite happy. I was originally quite annoyed and getting a bit stressed out that they did the What Is 1.5 and then didn't carry on with it. But actually, in hindsight, I'm quite glad that they haven't kind of been dangling the carrot in front of our face for the last few weeks, because, as you know, the update's obviously not ready, and if they'd started the ARG back in December and it'd been going for a few weeks, we would have been expecting the update to drop like almost the next day at this point. So I think they've been very, very clever in going in December. I think doing that was their way of saying, hey guys, we're still here, we know you're here, something's coming soon, we know we're working on it, remember, you know, get back talking to each other. And then they've left it, and then I think it's safe we can comfortably wait until they're ready to start the ARG again properly. Until then, I don't think there's any point in sort of stressing about there not being any news, because if there's not any news, it means that the update's not ready, and I'd rather wait until something comes officially than giving us something to do, an ARG, and we all lose our minds over, you know, is it going to come tomorrow, is it going to come the next hour, the next day?
Yep.
So yeah, I'm happy to patiently wait and play the game as it is, and see what comes in the future of the game.
Yep, I agree. Obviously, it would be nice if more were happening with the ARG and all that, but I think it's good that they teased it and got people interested again, because a lot more people have gotten onto the Atlas CSD forum, where originally the ARG kind of investigation went on, and Reddit and so on. So it really has energized people, gotten people interested in the game again. So I am glad that they teased it, and hopefully we'll get some more news out of it soon. But that's it for this interview. Thank you for joining me, Robot Boy, and I really want to encourage viewers to check out Robot Boy's channel. So I have been Mac, and this has been Robot Boy. Thank you for joining us for a day, and we'll catch you in our future videos.